Hi, my name is Jasmine and I'm going to bring you to Tel Balata National Park. Tel Balata is the site of the remains of an ancient Canaanite Israelite city located in the Palestinian West Bank. The built-up area of Balata, a Palestinian village and suburb of Nablus, covers about one-third of the Tel and overlooks a vast plain to the east. The Palestinian village of Salim, Biblical Salem, is located 4.5 kilometers (2.8 miles) to the east. The site is listed by UNESCO as part of the inventory of cultural and natural heritage sites of potential outstanding universal value in the Palestinian territories. Experts estimate that the towers and buildings at the site date back 5,000 years to the Chalcolithic and Bronze Age. So where is Tel Balata derived its name? What is the modern name now? Tel is an old Semitic word for an archaeological mound long used by Arabs. Balata is the name of the ancient Arab village located in the Tel and of the adjacent Palestinian refugee camp of Balata, established in 1950. The name was preserved by local residents and used to refer both to the village and the hill and later on the refugee camp. One theory holds that Balata is a derivation of the Aramaic word balut, meaning a corn. Another theory holds that it is a derivation of the Byzantine Roman era from the Greek word platanus, meaning terebinth, a type of tree that grew around the spring of Balata. The local Samaritan community traditionally called the site the Holy Oak or the Tree of Grace. Identification as an ancient Shechem. Traditionally, the site has been associated by the biblical Samaritan city of Shechem, said by Josephus to have been destroyed by John Hyrcanus I, based on circumstantial evidence such as its location and preliminary evidence of habitation during the late Bronze and early Iron Ages. Tel Balata lies in the mountain pass between Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, a location that fits well with the geographical description provided for Shechem in the Bible. No inscriptional evidence to support this conclusion has been found in situ, and that other sites have also been identified as a possible site of biblical Shechem. For example, Magen locates the city nearby on Mount Gerizim at a site covering an area of 30 hectares. Know that you are excited to hear about the archaeology in Tel Balata. So, archaeology. The site was first excavated by a German team led by Ernst Selin from 1913 to 1914. After the end of World War I, work by Selin was resumed in 1926 and lasted until 1934 with the last few seasons led by G. Walter. Excavations were conducted at Tel Balata by the American Schools of Oriental Research, Drew University, and the McCormick Theological Seminary in 8 seasons between 1956 and 1964 when the West Bank was under the rule of Jordan. Archaeologists who took part in this expedition included Paul and Nancy Love, Albert Gluck, Lawrence Toombs, Edward Campbell, Robert Bull, Joe Seeger, and William G. Dever. Among others, further excavations are to be undertaken by Palestinian archaeologists along with students from the University of Leiden in the Netherlands as part of a joint effort funded by the Dutch government. A 2002 final published report on the stratigraphic and agricultural evidence at Tel Balata indicates that there was a break in occupation between the end of the late Byzantine age, c. 1150 BC through to the early Iron Age, 975 BC. A small quadrangular altar discovered in Tel Balata, similar to ones found in other Iron Ages such as Tel Arad famous for burning incense. One of the oldest coins discovered in Palestine was an electrum Greek Macedonian coin dated circa 500 BC found at Tel Balata. There is evidence that the site was inhabited in the Hellenistic period until the end of the 2nd century BC. This Hellenistic era city was founded in the late 4th century BC and extended over an area of 6 hectares. The built structures shows evidence of considerable damage dated to the 190s BC and attributed to Antioch's third conquest of Israel. Habitation continued until the final destruction of the city at this site in the late 2nd century. Tel Balata is an important cultural heritage site close to the city of Nablus. According to Egyptian and biblical literature, the site played an important role in history. It was famous for being political and cultural center for trading took place. Tel Balata contains remainings of an ancient village, Old Balata, which is the period of 4000 to 3500 BC. During the 20th century, Germans and Americans did excavations and found the remains of this village. Due to the outstanding discoveries which were made at Tel Balata, it is a potential World Heritage Site. In the past, the archaeological site was difficult to maintain. However, thanks to different projects, it is now accessible to visitors. Old Balata used to be a small village with only few inhabitants. Afterwards, in a period of 150 years, it was uninhabited until a city was founded at the same place named Shakmu. Through the agricultural and trade, the population was prosperous and the city became a city-state. Nevertheless, the king of Shakmu, named Labaya, failed to succeed his plans, and the city was destroyed at the end of his reign. The Assyrians conquered Shakmu and rebuilt a city in 1100 to 300 BC. After different periods of reign, the city became smaller, especially when not far from Shakmu. The city Nablus was founded by the Roman emperor. Due to the broad history of this archaeological site, it is definitely worth a visit. It is located between the mountains Gerizim and Ebal, close to the refugee camp Balata and not far away from the Jacob's Well. You can visit the site every day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tel Balata is identified with ancient Shechem, known for several written sources dating back to the 2nd and 1st millennia BC and later ones. The site is located in the main hill between Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, at the crossing of the main north, south, and east-west routes. The location has many water sources in addition to good winter rainfall and fertile land, thus providing good means of subsistence. Ancient Egyptian and other texts mention Sekhmet or Shakmu as well as its king Labayu during the 14th century BC, when the town was the capital of a large city-state. This is important possession, though under Egyptian or other ruler, was maintained up to 732 BC. When the city was destroyed by Assyrians, later on, it was the center of the Samaritan community until its final destruction in 128-107 BC. Excavations have revealed the occupational history of the site, particularly during the Middle and Late Bronze Ages. The second urbanization period in Israel from around 2000 till 1100 BC. Several impressive ruins from this period are visible, such as the fortress temple on the summit of the hill, used for public worship. Other ruins include two monumental gates, massive city walls, and a governor's palace. with a small private shrine, guard rooms, an assembly, living quarters, and a kitchen. Of the following Iron Age, few remains are to be seen, but some other building remains date from Hellenistic times. Later, on the site of Balata was abandoned, but a new town was established by the Romans further west in 72 AD named Flavia Neapolis called Nablus. Under the caliphs, since 636 AD, continuously being a trading and agricultural center in northern Palestine or Israel, called together with Tel Balata in the past the uncrowned queen of Israel. Implementation of the archaeological part, the project focuses on Tel Balata and has two main components: research and heritage management. Research concerns assessment of the site, including study of publication, doing field work, and is currently taking place in Tel Balata. Consolidation and community archaeology are elements of management of the site. The heritage management plan is being developed in cooperation with local stakeholders and concerns presentations and promotion of the site, including a reception space, interpretation center, site museum, visit trail, and written information. Some elements of it have to be partially or preliminarily implemented already this year, but it is fully implemented the coming. Tel Balata has now been recognized by most biblical scholars as the site of the ancient city of Shechem, an ancient Canaanite city whose inhabitants traders with ancient Egypt. It is also the site where Jesus met the Samaritan woman in John 4, verses 4 to 6 at Jacob's well. Jacob's well is close to this site. Called Sychar and is part of the Bible, it has been confirmed to be one and same as Shechem. It is a holy, truly Christian site located in the hill country of Ephraim. It was one of the most important crossroads in Israel and a vital trade. Tel Balata in the Bible. God appeared to Abraham here in Genesis 12, 6 to 7. As the first city he visited as he entered the land of Canaan. Here, Jacob built an altar and dug a well. Here, his sons revenged his daughter Dinah. From here, Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. For this reason, he commanded that his remains should eventually be buried there, where his last memory of Israel remained. Here Joshua built an altar to God and divided the nation of Israel after Moses brought the Israelites out of Egypt. Here Joshua also buried Joseph's remains, which had been brought out of Egypt in the dirt of the land Joseph's father Jacob. Here in Tel Balata, he famously remarked, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Joshua 24:15. He was giving the people a choice to serve the gods of the past and their ancestors, or to choose for themselves and serve the Lord. It was also a message of personal choice and responsibility. We must create and strengthen our own relationship with the Lord daily. After Solomon died, his son Rehoboam was crowned king in Shechem over all Israel. But when the country split into two, Jeroboam became king of the northern kingdom and made Shechem its capital for a while. Shechem was conquered and destroyed several. After the reigns of Saul, David, and Solomon, Solomon's sons Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had come to Shechem to make him king. 1 Kings 12:1. But due to recklessness on his part, the nation divided here at Shechem. Jeroboam separated the northern tribes from Judah here in Tel Balata. By the time Jesus spoke to the woman at the well, tensions between Jews and Samaritans were high, as the Syrians had repopulated the area upon conquering it with mixed races of people.